Arsenal and Chelsea fans, do you guys know that the game is over? The match is over. Arsenal v Chelsea is finished. Let's move on. Let's move on. Arsenal won, Chelsea won. It was a good game for the neutrals. A very frustrating game, maybe for both parties in Arsenal and Chelsea. Chelsea, we were frustrated with the red card, because they believe they could have gone on to win that game. Arsenal will be disappointed with their performance. But one thing that we're doing now, I think, is everyone is trying to get one up on each other. And for me, it's just not making sense. And silly narratives and stuff are starting to come out of this game, right? Let's start with Moises Caicedo. Now, Moises Caicedo, there's a lot of things that are going around. People are saying that he's dirty, he's a thug, he's this, that. For me, Moises Caicedo came out in that game via instruction. It was very clear that Chelsea came out on that game to disrupt Arsenal physically, to be in their faces. In the first second, João Pedro is throwing someone on the floor. Cucurella is flying into tackles. Enzo was being a shithouse all game. Their intention was to disrupt Arsenal and get Arsenal off their game. And they did that successfully. Caicedo was a lead pioneer in that. He was very pumped up, very passionate, very energized for this game. Now, did he overstep the mark? Yes. Caicedo overstepped the mark in that instant by fouling Mikel Moreno that harshly, and obviously which required a red card. But there's a lot of talk where I think Caicedo is somebody that can be clumsy. I'm not going to deny that. I think he can be clumsy and he needs to sometimes be careful with the way he challenges. However, I don't think Caicedo goes out on the pitch to hurt people. I don't think he leaves the game to hurt people and injure people. He can be clumsy, but we have seen many, many clumsy football players. Now, because he was very charged up, because he had already fouled Eze, he had pushed somebody, I forgot who he was, he pushed somebody to the floor. He was very pumped up. He already had an argument with Mikel Moreno. I think the narrative of him being this thug, which everybody's saying, and I've seen a few things coming out from kind of like Arsenal creators, and they're saying he's a bad individual, he's this, he's that, like a lot of like very, very harsh words towards him. And I think people just need to calm down and sometimes take things in isolation. It was a bad tackle. He got the red card for it, but I don't think he's out here trying to intentionally injure people. And now you get people, posting when he fouled Gravenberch or stuff where he's looking at the ball, He is an enforcer. He is somebody that's going to play with aggression. But I remember when these type of games, you'll get bad tackles, you'll fly into things, people will scuff each other, scuffle, and you move on. You move on. You don't talk about it for days and days and days. I want to remind people, Patrick Vieira, arguably the best centre midfielder in Arsenal history, I think he is, and one of might be even the Premier 11. This guy has 8 red cards. I've seen videos of this guy flying into tackles, which look dangerous, spitting on people, kicking out on people, having fights in the middle of the pitch. That is Arsenal's greatest centre midfielder. So I feel, and we hail him up. We love him. So I think when people are saying, oh, Caicedo's not a football player, but then we love a Patrick Vieira's and these type of guys, we just need to be a bit balanced here. Now, I don't think it was Caicedo's first red card of his career. There's been many times where I've seen Caicedo foul somebody. It's a harsh foul. I'm like, well, he needs to calm himself. But it's not to the point where I would say that this guy's a thug, a dirty player, someone that's going out his way to injure people. And I think them narratives, people need to be careful with that because, I think it's a dangerous narrative to push on somebody. And now with the aggression that I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the aggression Chelsea played with, the shouting at Madueke. Listen, this is what derbies are about. This is what big games are about. I saw Declan Rice take out Xavi Simons, then let his knee run across Xavi Simons' head just a game ago in the North London derby. We saw that. I loved it. Let Xavi Simons know you're there. What? You're about to play. You're in a big boy match. I'm gonna let you know I will bully you today. And that's what these guys were doing. Were they pumped up? Yes. But Chelsea ended up getting a result which people thought Arsenal were going to go and get, win the game. Obviously, Chelsea drew, but that's a positive result for them considering the context. So I think, there's too much discourse going around now where people are trying to like do a little bit of revisionism. And I think it's a case where, obviously, as I said, it's two frustrated teams, but it's nothing that requires the discourse, which can turn dangerous after this point. That's just how I look at it. I think everybody needs to calm down a little bit. Thank God that there's another games coming up so we can just forget about that, because now it goes away from the football pitch. It starts becoming, I saw a creator say, I don't like him. Like, I don't like him. I saw a look in his eyes. And I'm like, about Caicedo. And I'm like, you can't say that you saw a look in his eyes. And now you're talking about the man's character. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You're talking about the man's character. And I think also, like, there's a lot of times where you look at a game, for example, I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot of people talking about Bukayo Saka got his assist, and it's his first assist since last year or something like that. And a lot of people are defending that in terms of, like, they've got Arsenal fans defending it in terms of he's created chances. Before that, they're showing a bunch of chances that people have missed of him. The thing about assists is somebody else has to finish it, right? So there's a narrative coming out where people are, I think, Esteval got hooked. So people are talking about Esteval, though he has more GA than Saka, blah, blah, he's better. I think everybody, again, needs to just slow down a little bit. Now, when you look at Saka, he's been in and out. He's been coming back from hamstring injuries, 2 hamstring injuries. Could he be playing better? Yes, he can. Bukayo Saka, this is not the best of Bukayo Saka. But at the end of the day, with an assist, somebody has to finish it. So what you got to look at is the way people are creating. You got to look at, if you are a stat person, you've got to look at their XA, what they are doing on the pitch if somebody's not putting the ball in the back of the net. And I think Saka's stats are still decent. Now, is this the best of Bukayo Saka? No. And I think Arsenal fans can be honest and say that. One thing that I think is a bit disingenuous is the people that are trying to make it out like assists mean creativity. That is not the case. But also, I think there is a bit of ingenuity, or whatever the word is, about people trying to say, these are the stats, Saka is playing well. I think there needs to be a bit of balance here again. I think everything, after a football match, balance goes out the window. Everybody just starts trying to be a little bit biased, over biased. And as I said, it's a 1-1. It's a game that people are it's come and it's gone. The title race is still open. Man City obviously just won. You got Arsenal going against Brentford. You got Chelsea's coming up soon. So when you're looking at these fixtures, the title race is still open. It didn't really do much for the title race. You're going to keep on going. But I think there's too many people trying to find a definitive take from that game. There's not much of a definitive take from that game. And it's okay to have that sometimes. It is okay. A lot of talk, from the Arsenal side that I'm seeing as well is like, Chelsea didn't make us play bad. We just played bad. I think one thing that I've often seen with Arsenal fans, though, what I would say, guys, is sometimes the opposition do make you play bad. Worse. I think sometimes there's too many times where it's like, no, the reason why we didn't play well is because of us. And then that's what ends up making people point the finger at Arteta, where I think to myself, why don't we give credit to Maresca for maybe getting it right? And this happens all the time with football clubs, But I just think too many random narratives, and it's starting to become like, take the fun out of what the game should be. I think too many narratives are being created coming out of this game. So guys, let's move on from that fixture. I did see, Enzo doing a lot, Cucurella doing a lot, but then at the same time, Hincapi was giving it back. Hincapi threw an elbow. Hincapi shouted in, was it Pedro Neto's face? That is what you want from a derby. That is what you want from these type of big games. You don't want to now start talking about people's characters and da-da-da, and the next thing you know, the sting out of fixtures like this is gone because everybody's wants to be correct in their behavior. No, now I want Arsenal to say to Chelsea, when you come to the Emirates, it is going to get real spooky for you. It is going to get real spooky. You want to do aggression? All right, we're going to show you. That's how you want it to be. And then now you're seeing so much discourse about Rice, Caicedo. Again, another case of, guys, Rice was okay. Caicedo got the red card. Live to see another day for that argument. Live to see another day for that rivalry. You don't need to come out of that game where both of them, Caicedo obviously had a howler with the red card, and Declan Rice for me was okay. Was he Arsenal's best midfielder? Probably, but I don't think it was a top performance. You just walk away from them like, okay, see you next time. See you next time. That's how I see it. I didn't see no master classes out there for people to now come with definitive talk and and I'm seeing the fan bases talking about, you hate my player. You guys have an obsession with my player. No, you guys have an obsession with my player. That is the internet in 2025. That is the internet. The internet is going to, the rivals are going to be obsessed with your player. Your club is going to be obsessed with the other player because we're always trying to get a one-up. That is what the internet looks like. And I always tell people just to block out that discourse. Which is why I'm not super on Twitter anymore or online like that, because that type of things make you feel like you're obsessed. I've had that where you're focused on a next man's player because you want your player to do something over theirs. It happens, but you don't want to become too much where you start just, for me, just yap. But anyway, guys, that was just a quick one. Anyway, I'll be dropping some videos today. Arsenal are playing. Who else is playing? Let's check in the Premier League. We've got Arsenal playing. We've got Chelsea playing as well. We've got Liverpool playing. So we've got the 3 of the top 4, big clubs at the moment are playing. Arsenal are playing Brentford. Leeds are playing Chelsea are playing Leeds away, and Liverpool Sunderland. That is going to be a good game. Liverpool Sunderland at Anfield. That's a tricky one. That's a real tricky one. But reactions will be coming out. I might do a joint reaction for all the games, or I might do a separate one because Arsenal are a little bit earlier. But you guys know I will be here anyway. So like, share, subscribe, turn notifications on. Guys, who's been more annoying? Who has been more annoying since the game has ended? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, turn notifications on. It's your boy CultureCams. I'm out. Peace.